Hi there guys, I hope you're well. In this video we're going to start off a full website build using FEWD Studio. Just want to put FEWD Studio through its paces. It's working really well, and I would regard it now as a tool that you can use to completely create and manage your websites, your apps, whatever it is that you want to put some front-end styling on. This obviously works with static HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as a front-end web development tool, but then also, you can convert that to Astro sites and templates and edit those as well. So not going to do another yap on FEWD Studio, but just want to say it's as we're going to see, it's a great desktop tool, very similar to page builders that you get in WordPress, such as Bricks or Etch, and keeps you close to the code, but it gives you that visual interface all in one and helps you just create on the go. Right, so let's. I do have a few resources at my fingertips, so I've jumped to a color wheel on Canva, and I've got something that looks a bit yoga-ish. Not going to fuss about branding and things like that, just making this up as a yoga business as we go along. But it's a typical type of business that you might create for a local client. And I've just grabbed some images from Pixabay and Pexels and Google Flow. So yeah, just keeping it nice and snappy. We won't fuss about that. Let's just look at the mechanics of making the pages. I will have Gemini on hand for some CSS that I don't know, like gradients, just generate that really quickly. But then, of course, there might be times when I'm just having a blank moment on something stupidly simple, and I'm like, oh, Gemini, help. I should say that I'm also going to show you Gen CSS, which is essentially it's a CSS framework that helps you produce your global style sheet using color pickers and input fields. So essentially you create all of your it's a CSS framework, but it works directly with your global CSS sheet. Until now, nothing has existed like that for desktop applications and in code editors, but we have that now. We're going to take it for an initial spin today. Okay, cool. So first thing we need to do is open up FEWD Studio. So FEWD Studio is a desktop application. You don't need to get onto the internet or fire up WordPress or anything. We are now just in the position to create just like this. Done. First step is to use the folder selections, the directory selections to create a project. So or a project space. So I'm just setting that directory is where I want to work, and then adding a folder. Obviously, I don't want you to have to get your steps in constantly on the diagonal, so this will be brought down to here or into the middle. This was just the first space that I had added it, so I've not yet changed it. So I'm in the desktop. I need to create yoga website. That's going to be the project folder on the desktop, and now I'll select that, and I'll create the folders that I need in there. So images, to host the images in our project, and fonts. I want to host fonts locally. This is how we do it in proper web dev, but obviously page builders and everything in WordPress, you just click which font you want and it brings it from Google, which isn't good for your GDPR and things. So this is how we should do it. Next, we can add files. So my face is in the way a little bit there. If I bring that down, if I just fling my face away there. So next we add files. So this is the file edition, and we need some essential files. So we've got HTML, and just to show you, actually, if you prefer working in the terminal, FEWD has that. So you could just do it through here, if you prefer. And a lot of people do when you're working in this environment. I think that's what I call it. Yep. So this is what we have currently, and we would want to add styles.css and globals.css. Okay, cool. Everything's there. Close down the terminal. We can use that later on to initialize GitHub, and then we could use the push to Git button. But right now, let's just get on with some templating so we can see how it's working, much like we do with Bricks and Etch tutorials. Okay, so we've got all of the files that we need, and now we just need to hook FEWD up. So first of all, set base directory again, just because I haven't yet done that on the project folder, and then hook it all up. So index.html, CSS, well, the styles, and then we want to get the globals one. Okay. So that's all ready to go. Obviously, you don't need JavaScript at this point. I haven't created a JavaScript file. The only thing we'll need that for later on is sorting out the menu on mobile. So we will get to that, but just not at this point. Today we'll just get some templating done. Okay, so before we start creating, we should know that we're going to style on selectors, and we're going to tie all of those selectors to our globals sheet, because that's what contains our variables and our design tokens. And if you're not so up on variables and design tokens, I do have a previous video that goes more in depth on that, but essentially you should have a global sheet that establishes all of your variables and your hard values. Okay, so so you have your different brand colors, and then the actual values. You have text statements, and then you have your actual values for those, and spacing, and then the actual values. So those are your primitive variables, and then you would have, this is how I like to lay it out, I like to then have layer 2 design tokens. And design tokens are variables, but they are pointing to one of your layer 1 variables. And what that means is that this is more for use case. So it helps you remember the content, the context. So to be honest, you could create these as primitives, and maybe I would. But yeah, this is an example sheet. And then you have in that globals all of the resets. So get every browser working as a default or from a default, and it keeps your design consistent across browsers. So all of that is in your globals sheet, your globals CSS. And then you might have some global utilities. So these are some that I generally always have and use. Hook heading and things, I'll explain that later maybe. And buttons and stuff. So that is what you should have. When you're working generally in a desktop code, VS Code environment, you don't really have that to hand. Page builders or CSS frameworks that you can use. So we've got page builders. They establish some of the globals, or ACSS is a framework that I use, and that is obviously an entire CSS framework. That type of functionality doesn't exist on desktop code editors until now. Now we have what's called Gen CSS, and so if you go to your globals and you click on the paint palette, this is where we can add in our various brand colors or make decisions on our typography, and it's going to generate that global CSS sheet, which is behind the scenes of all of the CSS frameworks to some degree. So this is where we're going to establish all of our variables and assign design tokens, and then that's just going to generate our globals CSS sheet. So let's pop along to my branding on Canva. Okay, so my rookie branding on Canva. So we're just going to put that in, and like any other CSS framework, it's going to give us shades that we can use. The convention that I use and I've put into Gen CSS is the color, so primary in this instance, and then we have primary light 1, primary light 2, primary dark 1, primary dark 2. Okay, so let's grab the other colors. So this will be the secondary color. And so we need to enable that one and then paste it in. And again, we get those additional colors, and then we have an accent. So this would be something like, like an accent color. Those small accents, and perhaps the little text links and bits like that. Cool. So we have our brand colors and associated shades. We have a base and we have a neutral. Neutral will be used very much for the backgrounds in this instance at least. Cool. Okay, so that's looking okay. Color assignments. I haven't figured all of this out yet as a base. Okay, so I pretty much took this off some a sheet very much like the one I just showed you as a basis to start working with, but you know, I will be ironing all of this out. I just want to check. I haven't taken Gen CSS for a spin properly yet. So BG-White, I mean, I don't need that, but yeah, BG-Light. See, this is the sort of thing that AI cooks up if you don't keep an eye on it. BG-Gray, that's too specific. That's not what we want. Okay, typography. I know that I need to change that. So typography, you should state that in your globals. And we are going to do that here, but I have a different arboreto. I don't know if it's 2 T's. It's 1 T. Blur. Bless me. Thanks. That's nice of you. Oh no, enter is that, and then display font. So, you know, this will be refined, but yeah, this is looking fine at the moment. And then we have things like spacing and layout. All right, so very similar to what you'd see in a page builder. You know, first thing you do in breakdowns, you jump to the width, make sure it's as you like it. You can sort out the inline styles and everything. Inline padding and stuff. Okay, cool. So all we have to do now is gen CSS, generate the CSS, click save to globals, and let's have a peek. And that's working beautifully. That's working beautifully. So now we have a global style sheet, all frameworked out. So we have our primary light 1, primary light 2, all of those shades coming through there. And yeah, so other primitives, so typography primitives, again, really not double checked all of this is working as I want it to. It will be refined, but it's looking good so far. It's looking good so far. Something I know that it doesn't have in place at this point are buttons, and I want the buttons in there. So VS Code on my other sheet. Global utilities, it's these. I know I want to take those. Whoa. Goodyo. Okay, I'm gonna splat them at the bottom there. So this is bi-directional. You can change anything you want and put it on there. The only thing to be careful of is that you're not messing up the markers that FEWD is using to make that work from the dialogues. But great. So we have global style sheet all ready to go and a blank canvas. So that's cool. Victory sip of coffee. And let's go for it. Right. So FEWD does have what I'm calling inserts, so you can just slap in a pattern there for a hero. There will be one for a nav, a header and a nav, but I don't have that yet. So let's create a section and a div, and then inside that we're going to need we'll just do that one because we'll use that for a logo at this point, because yeah, I don't have any logo. I can just upload. That's fine. So within the header wrapper there, we'll have a logo, and then we'll have another div, and that will contain the menu. Now that one needs to be a nav, and then I do need another div so that I can have a UL. That's correct, because I can't have the nav and the UL be the same item in a tag, unfortunately. So nav, UL, and then within those, I need to have a list item. There we go. And then there would be the link. I think that's correct. Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay, so let's first of all, let's change that to an A. So it's a link item. This is going to be a list, and this is going to be the UL. Okay, cool. And then this is the nav. Goody good. That will be the logo. We're just going to use the text logo at this point. Yeah, that's fine and simple. That's all we need at this point. Okay, cool. So let's class these up. Let's add the selectors. So header, and then we have header inner. That's fine. This is going to be header logo. After that, we need header nav. That works. And to be honest, we could do nav and then nav list, nav, but I'm just going to fly along with this at this point. So yeah, so I'm going to take these. These work well. I will know what they are. And header link. Okay. Goodio. All right, so we've got all of that sorted out. FEWD is saving as we go. If that makes you nervous, that's how we get the more page builder experience. Whereas VS Code, you control save, and then it would load up in the browser. But this is how this is designed. Okay, cool. So let's add a bit of text. So Yoga Land. Oh, that's the text logo, and let's add in about. We're not going to do anything else structure there, so we'll duplicate that, and classes and contact. Okay, so nice and simple. Goodio. Just so that we can see the styling actually change something on the page. Okay, right, good to go. I do know that there must be a fault in this sheet at the moment, so I'm going to expand that and have a look. I don't believe that white and black are actually defined in this, and I will need those. Okay. Okay, cool. So, Gen CSS does have this area here, so you could define your own primitives, and it will put them onto the page for you. So I would need that to be white, and I'm not going to use black on a on a yoga store, but save to globals. Let's have a look. There we are. So so beneath the color primitives produced by FEWD, we have the white and the black, although that should be in its own root, so otherwise it's just not there, it doesn't exist. So that's something to iron out, but that will be ironed out. Apply changes, and we're good to go. So now I would have white and black as a variable. I would want white. Okay, cool. Right, so that's fine. Let's start slamming this out a little bit. Okay, so I'm not going to want to put a height onto this, but I would like to put padding inline var padding, probably just minimal, and then padding block, I would like that to be a bit more significant. So the way I've done these as a convention is to say the type of thing that you want, and then the option of it, because I think that's easier to stay in the head. So so in this instance, padding large. Let's try that. It might be a bit too much, but we'll see in a minute. Let's get a background on here. So let's take white for a spin. Yeah. Apparently not. Apparently not. Why is that not working? Background var white. Well, it should be working. I feel like this is a point where I'm doing something really stupid. Not yeah, so it's that nothing is coming through. That's great. Thanks for embarrassing me, God, in front of all my friends. Oh no! See, look at that. That's all it was. Yeah, cool. Coolio. Right. It was human error, as is often the case. Okay, so div inner, we would like this to be a flex row. So I'm going to use an insert here. Flex row. Oh, helps if you type it correctly. So flex row, enter. That's cool. And now, is it align content or align items? Align items. And we've got BEM in here. So space between. I don't know if that works. Oh, AI space. If we had a width on that, that would probably show up 300 or 400. And this one is am I doing that wrong? Align content. Huh? That should be working. There's only one thing for it. To Gemini. This is one of those silly situations. Not working. Line content, blah, blah, blah. Oh, justify. Darn it. Oh, God, that's such a basic thing to be going to Gemini for. Yeah, don't judge me. I apologize for that. Wrong. That was so bad. Okay, page builder land. You know, it's just not. Okay, it is what it is. And nav. Okay, so we've got nav, and then we've got the actual list. So let's put a test around that one. Coolio. So we would like this again to be flex row. Okay, and we would like a gap in there. I don't know if I've sorted out my gaps, my gap variables, but I don't want to waste your time. So let's have a look. Gap content isn't in there, so we're going to go with gap M. I mean, that's fine anyway. Justify content end, and that's looking pretty okay for the minute. So cool. Okay, again, don't want to fuss around too much. That's looking pleasant enough. Right, let's make our text logo look a little bit nicer. So font weight, heavy, no, bold, bold. Or we could use the value, as we should, really. Yogaland, I don't think Yogaland would be so heavy. Maybe it would. Okay, and color, we want to pull in one of our variables right now. So let's just do the primary, I suppose, or secondary. Yeah, okay, cool. And I suppose header links, let's just style on a color onto those. What should we go with? Primary dark. Yeah, that's fine for the minute. Okay, cool. Let's bung a shadow on to here. I haven't looked through on these to check that these are good shadows. So I just got some example ones put in there so that I could see it. Right, okay, anyway, but that's looking nice. Let's get on with the hero. We don't want to faff around here too much. So I'm going to use an insert here. So insert, somebody asked me, like, when I'm putting FEWD together, like, about components and patterns and things like that. Components really, as we work with them in WordPress page builders and things, is a bit different to how you work when you're, actually in a file structure in a project. So with Astro, a lot of people don't use components with Astro, but with Astro, I just want to stick to using components. Same with the two next projects I've just done. I really want to build only with components that I've created, and I pull into the templates. And that is real component design in desktop file structure. As we're used to them in any page builder, whether that's, Elementor doesn't have them, whether that's Breakdance doesn't have them either, so Bricks or Etch, that's components within the builder, but and that is kind of correct, but it's not as would work here so much, because we want to be building it properly into the file structure ourselves. Anyway, all of that to say there is a difference between patterns and components. The inserts are patterns, and they create things like this, which are the structures that we can then use. I can actually, if using -C, we have variants with them that have classes with them. So here I have example classes done, so now I can just get on with it. I will only have one proper hero, so this makes sense to me. I'm good to go already. Okay, so hero, let's, we don't need a background color, because actually what we're going to do is we're going to add an image into here, and we're going to, because it's on our globals, or it should be, might have to fix it, we're going to add the BG element. Oh, but of course I do need to give the image, I do need to actually give the image a source. So let's go to our assets panel. We're going to find our images. All right, so we're just going to go there, and then we can drag images in. Now I actually have these open elsewhere. I've grabbed a bunch of them, and I just quickly optimized them to 1280 and WebP. So I've slapped them in there. Cool. And now you can see that I've got a bunch of images actually in my images folder. Okay, so these are project images. Let's hook one of those up. So images and yoga image 1.jpg. Should be that. Is it case sensitive? No, it can't be. It really isn't, I'm sure. And yes, I'm wrong. Well, this has worked until now. Again, what? Here it. Oh God. WebP. Okay, I put the wrong extension on there. Cool. Okay, so yeah, that's all working lovely. Happy with that. It looks like I don't have my background image in the CSS, so I need to go and find that, because that's not in my, that's clearly not in my okay, maybe it's in my, where are we? Background image. It's definitely a thing that I had put together with also, I thought I had it in here. Damn it. Otherwise I'll have to just write it manually, but that seems awfully boring for you all. Awfully. Yes. Yes, it does. No, I do. I have it here. BG element. Oh. Sorry, getting a close up on my face. BG element. Okay, so I thought I'd splat that at the bottom with the button stuff. Thought I had. Did I not save it? Maybe I didn't save it. Okay. Let's make sure I actually do that now. So I've got deja vu, so I'm pretty sure I'd done that. Oh, right, there it is. Okay, cool. So it's now in the globals, and you can see that it's pulled it. Yeah, it's pulled it as it needs to into the background. Something that isn't there, which needs to be on this item here, BG element, no, BG has, is overflow hidden. That's not taking effect there, I don't think. But okay. So, overflow hidden. Yeah, that's not taking effect. So I'll have to figure that out. Okay, height. Let's do, I need to get this going a bit. So we've got height, 80 VH. Cool, and this image we would like, I don't know if we want an aspect ratio on it, 16:9. And then object fit, cover. If that was not reaching the end, I'd want to put a flex 1 on it, I think. But yeah, anyway, I'll figure out the mechanics of that. Let's just keep going here. So we would like this to be flex C. We use an insert there, and well, no, that's I need it on that one, don't I? Flex C, insert, cool, and then align items. That's BEM, and then we need to put a gap in there, maybe a quite prominent gap, var, padding L. Okay, that's fine enough with me. What else do we need? We need this to be, align items center. So there's a bit of, or is it justify content center? Yeah, that one, obviously, duh. Right, okay, cool. That's looking fine enough really for a header. I don't want to get too complicated on this one. We're just showing that this works like a nice page builder in WordPress. Don't know which one. So, font weight. Let's get a bit. Oh, okay, no, let's sort the actual fonts out, because I haven't added my font files, so I need to do that. So let's go to the fonts file, and we want to host them locally. I'll just get my face out of the way. All right, so I've just gone to my fonts file, and this is really simple. You go to Google Fonts, get the fonts that you'd like, and then you would have to convert them to WOFF2 type, but there are free conversion tools online. And actually, look at that. I just need to tend to the file extension there. So, oh, what's that one? Arboreto. So that one actually needs to be Arboreto. But then I need to rename these. Okay. Got to make sure that all these specifics are in place, obviously. Okay, cool. Did that change then? I think it changed. I think that changed. Don't know. Well, obviously it's meant to. Okay, cool. So let's get a bit of something on here. So 600. Oh, yeah, that's changed. I'm assuming this one has the capacity to get bold or whatever. Anyway, font size. Doesn't look that big. Right, let's just put in a harder yeah, something like that. Right. I just want us to see a bit of a result, so I just yeah, we'll crack on. Please give me hero section text for a yoga studio. Okay, cool. Let's just copy and paste all this in there. And what should we go with? Find your center in the chaos. That's quite cool. Move with purpose. Build your power. I think people are going more for awaken your spirit. Yeah, that one. Cool. So we're on the title. Let's bung the actual. Yep, that's cool. Let's get that color. We would like. Let's go for a light. Let's go for primary light 1 on that. Oh no. All right. All right, we're doing that. That's cool. So let's do this also. Okay, I think the white is winning today. Let's font size that one. Cool. And button primary. Let's bung that one on there. That should come through from the globals. Yeah, okay, cool. Happy with that. Yeah, I'm not going to fuss with that too much at this point. I think we've done well. So that was actually that was a lovely smooth process. Yeah, it was a lovely smooth process. Let's chuck a section in there, and height. Well, okay, later on I will. I think I'm going to cut it there for this point, just because I have places to be and things to do. But just so that we can have a look at that, we'll build the next section soon. But that's a lovely, quick sort of build out of the nav header and nav and the hero section. That was pretty nice, smooth going. All done completely in the code editor sort of vibe, directly with the files. This is ready to chuck to Claude in terminal and be like, hey Claude, I've run out of tokens, I can't use Claude. He'll be like, what do you want? Yes. But it's pretty good. You've got Claude here, and you can just be like, right, okay, right, we're in this folder, sort this out, turn all this into Astro, install that. For that sense, it's you've got AI in here, just ready to go. And that's the thing with WordPress, everyone's trying to integrate AI here and there, and it's like, well, okay, but here if you're vibe coding, but you're in a front end interface, you've got all of the control over the styles and the coding and everything, and then you can get Claude to do the heavy lifting on things like, right, I mean, you could just install Astro quite easily through the terminal here anyway, but you can just be like, Claude, blah, 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 blah. At least, converting any of this to an Astro template. With full, so once you've used this to do all of the creation, you can just convert these to Astro, and then you would go into framework mode for the editing of that, in which case you wouldn't have the structure panel to use, but this is the creation tool, and then you hand that over using Claude in the terminal right here, and then it's an Astro, and then you can just deploy from there. And you've always got GitHub, so you start working here. I should have done that actually. In the next video on this full site build, we'll we'll sort GitHub out, just show you how to initialize all of that, how to create an account on GitHub, how to then initialize GitHub, and then you can just use the GitHub push button, and so you're always saving there. So if your device blows up, you're okay. You know, you're good. You've got it all saved. Right, I'm gonna leave it there for now. But yeah, I think we'll carry on with this and make this a full site build, and I'll let's next video we'll crack on with the rest of this page and see how far we get before we've got things to see and people to do.